Hello, 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 and welcome back to Cass Loves Tech. As you know, I'm Casita Simpson, and today our topic is going to be focused on client conflict checks, right? Law firm client conflict checks, and why it is essential for law firms to perform conflict checks, right? So there are 5 points that I'm going to focus on today when it comes to the topic of conflict checks, and they are ethical and legal obligation, protecting client confidentiality, maintaining professional reputation, avoiding legal malpractice claims, and finally, preserving attorney-client relationships. I'm not an attorney, but I do work with attorneys on a daily basis, and one of the things that they pride themselves on is performing conflict checks, because let's really face it, conflict checks are really an ethical and legal obligation, and law firms have ethical and legal responsibilities to avoid conflicts of interest. Representing multiple clients with conflicting interests can comprise the lawyers or law firm's duty of loyalty, confidentiality, and zealous advocacy. Because how can you advocate for your client to the best of your ability if you are not performing a conflict check? So conflict checks pretty much help ensure that lawyers can provide undivided loyalty to their clients in a real-time and on ongoing basis. So if you have a CRM that you utilize for your law firm on a daily basis, I would definitely ensure that you set it up to be able to perform conflict checks. If you are unsure how to do that, get with a partner or someone that consults for your specific case management system and ensure that you have the steps in place to perform a conflict check. There's a couple more points that I want to spend some time on when it comes to conflict checks, and the next one is going to be protecting client confidentiality. When clients provide sensitive information to their attorneys, they expect it to remain confidential. Conducting a conflict check truly helps prevent situations where an attorney may inadvertently use confidential information from one client against another client with conflicting interests. Let's face it, who wants to be in a situation where they're having to explain to a client that they accidentally passed on information that you shouldn't have? No one does it. And especially if you have a team of people working for you, that could happen so easily and you don't even know it. So definitely make sure that you're performing your conflict checks. All right, so up until this point, we spent some time talking about a couple of points when it comes to conflict checks. The first one that I covered was ethical and legal obligations, and I also spent some time discussing protecting client confidentiality. The next area that I want to spend some time focusing on is actually going to be maintaining professional reputation. And I think the title of it is self-explanatory, but as you and I both know, detecting and avoiding conflicts of interest helps maintain a law firm's professional reputation. Clients are more likely to trust a law firm with a robust conflict checking process in place, as it demonstrates a commitment to ethical conduct and the client's best interest. And we are all here to serve our clients. I support law firms to make sure that I support their clients timely and efficiently. And conducting conflict checks is just one surefire way to make sure that you're doing everything in your power to maintain that relationship, because as I've covered in a couple of videos by now, we wouldn't be here without our clients. So we want to make sure that we're doing them a great service. The next area that I'm going to talk about is avoiding legal malpractice claims. When it comes to legal malpractice claims, I'm sure you as a business owner, as the leader of your law firm, already know that malpractice claims are very dicey. Mishandling conflicts of interest can lead to legal malpractice claims and financial liabilities. And we're all in business to make money and not to have unnecessary risk and exposure. And not performing conflict checks is just a risk that you're taking for no reason. And effective conflict checks reduce the risk of such claims and help protect the firm's financial stability. As a firm, I'm sure you want to maintain stability and you want to be here for the long haul. Having proper conflict checks and having your system conduct conflict checks is going to be a surefire way to make sure that that happens. I've said this a couple of times throughout this video, but definitely please make sure that your systems are equipped to do exactly what you need it to do, especially when it comes to conflict checks, because you want to be set up for success right out the gate and make sure that the system is working for you and conducting these checks in a natural, organic way. That leads us to our final point for today's topic on conflict checks, and that's going to be preserving attorney-client relationships. Every attorney wants to be able to say that they're doing everything in their power to maintain client relationships, I would hope. Detecting potential clients early on allows the law firm to manage them appropriately and decline representation if necessary. This helps preserve attorney-client relationships by avoiding situations that could lead to disputes or mistrust. I, as a consumer and also having the privilege to work with attorneys on a day-to-day basis, know that the average consumer does not trust their attorney. And if you're not performing proper conflict checks, let's just face it, you're adding to that feeling of uncomfort and honestly mistrust. So definitely make sure that you're performing your conflict checks. So tie it all up in a bow and recap it. When it comes to conducting conflict checks, it is crucial and it is a very vital aspect of legal practice that ensures attorneys can fulfill their professional responsibilities, maintain client relationships and trust, and uphold the integrity of the legal system. It's an essential process to safeguard the interests of both clients and the law firm itself. So, now that I've spent some time talking about conflict checks and I've constantly been reiterating the importance of making sure that your CRM system is equipped to prepare you and have you set up for success in performing these conflict checks immediately as soon as the new lead is added to your system. I am going to show you what it looks like to set up an automation workflow to be able to perform a conflict check. And today's example is going to be used with the Lawcus CRM system. So let's go ahead and kick it off and work through this automation together now.